Hello and welcome everyone to today's crypto and TA live stream. Today is December 27th, 2021. It's Monday evening here, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a 1 hour approximate live stream today, crypto and stocks. So let's go ahead and get started. If During the live stream, if there are any audio, video, or internet issues, please let me know in the live chat, and I'm going to do the usual watch list. So let's begin. Before we even go to Bitcoin, we'll start off with total market cap. Why do we start off with total market cap? Because it is representative of the entire cryptocurrency marketplace. And so how we use this is just to track the total market cap price of essentially the entire cryptocurrency market. So this is a very large US dollar value here. And so we can get some clues from this chart even before Bitcoin makes a move. So what did we call last stream? We called this potential upside down head and shoulders in the blue here, which turned out to be correct. The only problem is on this daily chart where we are having a bit of a double top in the price at $2.4 trillion, approximately in this blue. So the measured move of this bounce down here, which about 7%, has been completed. The first target, if we happen to go extreme bull, double the target, then it would be up here 2.5 trillion. But that hasn't happened yet. So the two scenarios that can happen is this. First, start with the bearish scenario. So if this downtrend continues, this could just be a potential lower high in the price right here in the blue circle. This could be a lower high and we could crash down at the bearish scenario. Okay, crash down to where? Anywhere to 2 trillion to 2.2 trillion. Because you see here we have three peaks. Peak number, I'll put in X. Number 1, number 2, number 3. So if we happen to break bearish and go down, then we're looking at the 2 trillion target in the blue circle at the bottom. Okay, the reverse scenario is if we have bullish continuation to the upside, then this could establish a higher low down here. It doesn't always have to crash down. We could establish the higher low somewhere here, 2.2 trillion, somewhere here like this. And then if we hold 2.2 trillion in the bottom X right here, then we might be able to get a trend change reversal to the upside. So that's why trend changes, it's always tricky, right? If we rewind to September, October, we see this lower low, lower high, low, lower high. We crashed down one more time and then created a double bottom bullish pattern. Found support here. So this is what I'm kind of looking for as an example is, just because we went up 7% in the crypto market does not mean we're going to $100,000 in 2 weeks. It's possible, but we need to see a little bit more evidence than that on the chart. Okay, the reason why I don't forecast 5 years out into the future is it has to happen in real time first. And you can see it on the charts here. So what I'm hoping is we get some kind of higher low here if you're a bull and we continue to the upside. But always be prepared that if something bad happens with the crypto news fundamentals and government or something like that, politics, or something negative happens with crypto, then you could see you could see bearish downside. It's definitely possible. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a very, very strong base myself, somewhere down here like that. I just one up or one down leg of a price move is not really enough. Okay, you need to see some strong continuation, strong evidence in the marketplace. And the thing is, we bounced up, just like I said last week, we bounced up to test this resistance line right here. That's exactly what's happening. We hit the target and we're pulling back right now. So we might see some short-term pullback. Let me just verify that with some indicators. This is where I bring some indicators in. You can see we just hit our EMA targets and we're pulling back. So on the 4 hour, yes, we do have a little bit of bearish momentum, but these EMA moving averages are trying to uptrend and up cross. Looks like we might need a little bit more time, but it's nice on these shorter term time frames like the 1 hour, the H1, the 15-minute. We did hit oversold conditions, and so I'm expecting, like I said, in the short term, we're going to pull back down as far as it needs to go until it gets oversold. People will come back into the market and buy it back. Usually that happens. So longer term, it's going to take some time. Okay, definitely like a weekly, monthly. It's going to take weeks if you're an investor to see a stronger move in any direction. The daily chart as well, losing a little bit of momentum, but it's not, you know, the end all be all of crypto, because if you look at the chart, you could still lose momentum on the MACD, but you could still uptrend in the market. So that's why the this last week of the year of 2021, psychologically, I am thinking, you know, we already had a little bit of the early Christmas Santa Claus rally, you know, if you want to label it that. And that happens all the time. You get a move up, okay, and then what happens on shorter term time frames? You pull back. That's why all altcoins are dropping. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple more analysis of the big coins. I didn't even do Bitcoin yet, so let's do that first. How much time we have? All right. So if you're wondering, like, why does this guy do total market cap that much? Because the altcoins are inside of that chart. Okay, so let's do a nice Bitcoin chart. Okay, now we're looking at Bitcoin. All right, so let's get accurate here with Bitcoin. I'm on a daily chart. Let's get some trend lines set up. I'm going to turn the candles back on. Right here, we get this. You see that? The trend line was broken, but you can see the clear double top in the close of the price right here in the blue line. That's what I'm concerned about. Okay, we have a clear double top at $51,000 Bitcoin for now in this medium term time frame, the daily. So we have that trend line on the top side resistance. We have another support down here on the bottom side. We also have horizontal resistance right here at 51,000. We have a support at 49,000 range. So you could see here the pattern. We're looking at Bitcoin right now in candles. So, and the daily chart. If we break out, we need to establish a higher low anywhere above 47,000. Actually, anything above 45,000 is doable, is okay. We could pull back all the way down to 47,000 and hold this 47,000 range and try to have a bull rally, a Tam Santa Claus rally, if that's what people want to call it. So that's what I'm saying. We need to hold this. If it doesn't happen and we start losing this, then you can see the downside target here, $45,000, $40,000 Bitcoin. So these are the three big levels. If you're in my free Discord, I just released that weekly watch list about 30 minutes ago. These levels, very easy levels psychologically: 50,000, 45,000, 40,000, 55,000. Just very easy psychological numbers, and it just matters where the price is going to go right now. But again, there might be less liquidity in the market these days because it's the last week. There's also COVID Omicron variant. Okay, we cannot ignore that. That's really happening globally right now. So mentally, are people hyped on crypto and they're going to buy crypto right now? On the short term, it doesn't look so, right? Because the medium term, like 1 hour, 15 minute, maybe yes. But short term, in the next like 5 minutes, like, okay, you know, that's a little too short. But I'm really paying attention to this pattern. Are we going to get one more down? So we get a down leg, so we get an upside down head and shoulders. That would be a stronger pattern than what I'm seeing right now. This happens all the time. All right, you got a trend line breakout. It could go any way, up or down. And if you really want to know what's going to happen, then we move intraday. This chart is going to look kind of similar to the total chart that we just looked at. But again, it's still holding the higher low, so I'm not worried about that. If you want to just put two alerts for yourself, then you just put an alert at 51,000 and an alert at 49,000, and you just play between those levels, these two gray lines. The break of either of these on the top side or the bottom side will determine the short-term direction. What I'm concerned about is 4 hour head and shoulders on the RSI. Okay, so for me, on some of my positions in stocks and crypto, I'm going to move my stop loss up because I'm in profit for the past 2 weeks. All right, so let's move on. Let's do just quick Ethereum because I want to do the big three, and we'll get to some requests. But that's why it's important to do the big 3 or 4 and then go to altcoins, because the issue that I see a lot for like a couple years now is people sometimes can hyper focus on the small altcoins, right? When it's the big coins and the whales that determine the direction of the market. So let's just take a look here. Looking at Ethereum now, and I'm using a line chart just so it's very easy to see, okay? Because I know people of all skill levels are watching this stream. So sometimes I like to just use a line chart. It's really easy to see the price, close. All right, Ethereum USD. So we can see there is resistance, a large resistance up here in this almost $5,000 range. So I'm just gonna mark that, turn into a pink box. Let's change that. Usually it's yellow. In the yellow bar on the top side. And we can see that we have a consolidation pattern forming. How do I know this? Just from experience and studying the charts so much, is that you can see here the uptrend could potentially stay intact longer term going into January 2022, because all we need to do is hold this higher high, excuse me. We just need to hold the support level, higher low, just above 38,000, all right? So you can see in the wedge pattern, the support to the bottom side on this blue area is 3,500, okay? So you mark that on the charts. And the resistance is about 42,000. We have a psychological resistance just above $4,000 right here. So we just play between these three gray levels. There is a larger trend line that we have kind of lost, so it's a little bit concerning. It's not over yet for Ethereum. But you can see this trend line here, we lost that in consolidation in a downtrend. So what I would need to see for a bull continuation on Ethereum is, yes, it looks like it wants to pull back in the short term, but we need to hold this higher low above 4,000 and try to get a break up like that and continue maybe for a potential double top test, retest in 2022 in the first 3 months. That's what I'm looking for on Ethereum. Now, if we just take a quick look on the inside, there was MACD momentum. Weekly, we started to get this consolidation going. Monthly chart, monthly consolidation as well on these candles. So if we do end up breaking down bear, there is quite a long ways down to go long term. So I know people are excited about the Santa Claus rally and whatnot, but to me, it kind of already happened. It was priced into the market last week. So the question this week is, will we get continuation or not? So in this 4 hour, we're still in a basic downtrend. We just hit this 200 EMA, rejecting down from it. And the 1 hour, there's a lot of crosses up and down. So there's some hesitation in the market. Could be bots trading. But you see here on this H1, this 1 hour chart, yes, there is a little small ascending triangle with the oversold. So I'm considering that there might be a short-term oversold bounce within the next 24 hours on some of the altcoins. Yes, we did pull back down, but we did pull back into a support level. So as long as we just lost 4,000, that's bad. But the fact that we're holding this trend line, as I know day traders are going to try and swoop in and try to take this trade. So we'll see that bounce, right? All right, let's do one more big one, and then we'll move on to some smaller coin requests. I only do crypto for about 30 minutes, so about 20 more minutes more. So if you have more altcoin requests, please let me know in the chat. And again, this is a more advanced live stream. This is not like, total beginner live stream style that I'm doing. This is real technical analysis, indicators, more towards the advanced and intermediate side. So again, looking at Binance Coin on USDT. So we have this resistance drawn here in the yellow top box on the top side, horizontal resistance. You can see the consolidation that's happening on a lot of these altcoins. The trend line of Binance Coin is still intact, but you could see that the target is pretty low in terms of price, $500 to $450 range, right in this blue circle. So I wouldn't be surprised in one potential scenario if Binance Coin pulls back down straight into maybe 500 to 480 range, and then swing trader bulls will try to take that trade probably in this blue circle range down here in the 475. All right, so patience is the key depending on what time frame you are. If you're a longer time frame weak investor, you're gonna have to wait a long time to see a significant move. If you're a 5-minute, 1-minute scalper, I mean, probably you're just firing off trades 50 times a day or 10 times, 20 times a day. But if you're like me, if you're a medium term, longer term trader, right, you got to get ahead of the market and prepare for the scenario. That's why 80% of my trades this month were successful, because I do technical analysis, risk management, stop loss, profit targets, only using a small percentage of my capital per risk per trade, using technical analysis, classic style, and you get ahead of get ahead of the market, and you let the trade come to you. If you start chasing everything in the market, it's hard to catch anything. You'll most likely lose a lot of money if you try to chase all the time. That's why it's less FOMO or no FOMO charts. All right, so just get these levels out, and then we wait for it, right? You just plan ahead a little bit. Yes, the MACD momentum is there, just a little bit, but again, it's went from a 4-hour downtrend into a hourly uptrend, and we just pulled back down on these small time frames. The 1 hour, we do have a golden cross. That's good. That's why I'm expecting possibly some continuation on some of the coins. So if we turn off everything right here and we draw this trend line on the bottom side, you can see it. Okay. So even if you turn off all your indicators, just turn everything off, right? This is the classic style. You get support, resistance, trend. You read the candles, you read the price, you read the trend. So you can see we had a little pop up. People got a little too excited right here. This is probably bots, shorts, closing out and whatnot. And you can see here, the uptrend is still intact. Okay, this is not downtrending, so it's not game over for Binance. If the price was doing this, then it'll be bad for bulls. But it's uptrending right now. It's fine. This is totally normal if you know how to manage the risk, know how to read the charts. So this is totally normal. So again, the support trend line on the downside is anywhere below 550. We need to hold. If we start losing 542 or 535 or 525 or 500, that would be kind of bad, right? But at some point, 5 minute, 15 minute, you're going to get oversold. I mean, it's already looking to bounce probably in the next couple hours. But, you know, as a trader, you never want to go all in. You only want to risk like 1% of your capital per trade if you're starting out. Actually, that's the safest thing to do. If you put 100% all in on your trades, you make 4 to 10 mistakes, you lost, like a trader will lose all this money and blow up. Can never let that happen, right? So what I'm talking about is like this, and then we'll move on to some requests, is you got to have your stop loss, okay? So turn everything off, and this, let me use a better chart. Like, let me go to Ethereum. Just pick some random chart, okay. We'll turn everything off is like if you're taking a trade, you support a resistance, right? Very simple. Support or resistance, or resistance and support, resistance and support. Okay, and so you know the targets. If you're a patient swing trader, I'll put my order somewhere down here, right? The one order at least, and you see the you could do like a 7%, not of your whole account, okay? So if somebody has, let's say, a $10,000 account, that's that, you know, just the example number that everybody uses, right? Then if you're only going to risk 1% of your capital, okay, let me bring a calculator on the screen. So it's just like super easy for people. $10,000 times 1%. You're risking $100 per trade. You're risking $100 to make $200, right? You use that risk management, recycle, rinse, and repeat, the 1% rule of risk per trade, and you will protect yourself. The reason why people get destroyed in the market is they risk 100% of their trade with no stop loss, and they buy at the top, right? So so many people have told me that, and it's like, okay, if we just follow risk management going into 2022, that's why I keep telling people this, right? If you have a $10,000 or whatever the number is, whatever the number currency you're using, whatever your account balance is, the total is when you're trading in stocks and crypto, we're only supposed to risk 1% per trade. And if you're like, that's too little money, it's like, okay, well, prove it. Like, well, not you, I'm not singling anybody out, but professional firms, okay, the maximum account loss is 10% before they're going to shut down the account and have a meeting. Okay, so that's something you want to watch out for. Negative 10, once you go have more than 10% losses, you have to stop. Okay, if you're a beginner, if you have more than 5% total losses, just stop, right, and figure out what went wrong. So the way to protect yourself in every single trade that you take is you only risk 1%. So in this particular example, it's the $100 per trade. So in this particular case, right, how would I do that? So in for example, with 5% stop loss, okay, just doing like the basic math just off the top of my head, okay, is that you would, well, let's make it easy. Like, let's do an investment, right? Then in this particular case, 10% of what equals $100 loss, right? So it would be $1,000 position, even though your total account is $10,000. You know what I'm saying? So total account's $10,000. Like, let me type this. It's risk management. So total account size. And if you're like, I know this already, it's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, it's very important to know this. This is what separates beginners from professionals and advanced people, traders, because everyone learns this the hard way, one way or the other, right? Total account size, $10,000. Risk per trade, 1%, like negative 1%. So that would be, we just calculated $100. So position size would be what? $1,000, right? And what's my stop loss? My stop loss per trade could be 10%, right? So 10% of $1,000 is $100, and that's how you keep your risk per trade at 1% per trade to start off. Okay, and if you're like, this formula scales, you could have a $1 million account and they still use the same formula. Right? It's when people try to risk everything and go all in. It's just like Texas no. If you ever played No Limit Texas Hold'em, okay, you cannot go all in on every single trade. You know what I'm saying? Because you make one mistake and you lost it all. So the stock market and crypto is the same thing. You might not lose it all in, like, one day, but you've seen, if you could see some of these stocks and cryptos, like, you could lose negative 25%, negative 50%, negative 75% in like 1 month if you don't have risk management, okay? So I'm saying this particularly on this stream because the end of the year, as we go into 2022, if you follow this formula, you're going to save yourself a lot of potential pain. And it's more about consistent base hit winners rather than trying to make $100,000 in like 1 month or something like that. So, okay, that's the educational portion. Let's move on. All right, so we have, we got TLM and Luna and Tesla and SPY. Okay, let's do it in that order. Let's go TLM USDT. And again, I'm not singling any one person out, okay? This is just, I'm talking to myself too. I'm talking to everybody who watches this. That's real risk management, education, position size. That will prevent us from making a catastrophic mistake in stocks and crypto next year. All right, so maybe I'll talk about that another stream. All right, so TLM USDT. First thing is, you can see here it's in a consolidation phase going sideways in the long term, and there's a head and shoulders pattern. What do I mean by that? This thing, this price, at least on this chart, on the Binance chart, is going sideways. So there's no big established trend. It is following Bitcoin when I'm looking at these dates. Okay, Bitcoin crashed here, then we bounced here, then we rallied here, we crashed down on September 7th. Yep, same day. We rallied. So you want to watch out for this. Okay, the most recent price action. If this turns into a real head and shoulders, the downside is basically negative 80 to 90% at a maximum. That would completely destroy this coin, right? So you want to watch out. You want to play your support and resistance levels. All right, so I would mark this here at 50 cents, 75 cents, 37 cents, 30 cents, 25. I'm just doing a lot, so you future proof. You can rewind to the stream later. These are all the support levels I'm seeing on the downside. Looking left, and resistance here. Now I can also draw a trend line. We lost the trend line. You can see that is exactly what happened to Bitcoin. This is why it's supported to draw, work on the charts. Is we crashed and we bounced and we rejected. You see this, right? So if we do not continue up, this coin and a lot of altcoins are in trouble. Because if this rejects down, you can see how much potential downside you have. It has all these stops on the way down, but that's a lot of losses if someone's just going to invest in this and never have a stop loss, right? You lose all your money basically. So that's why it's not going to happen like that unless Bitcoin crashes. But you want to just watch out for that potential bearish pattern. If you know price, first thing you want to open this chart is, watch out for that. Watch out for that. And the fact that it's not really trending up or down is not healthy for the coin anyways. But if you're like trying to scalp it, day trade, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but 4 hour, 1 hour, it's the same deal. 1 hour is significantly low in the oversold, and the 5 minute, 15 minute might bounce if you're trying to scalp it. But if you're trying to invest in it and close your eyes for a year, I mean, anything is possible. So I would not recommend doing that on this lower liquidity coin. All right, so the only thing I'll say is just watch the support and resistance targets. All right, and I know that sounded really negative, but once you lose a trend line and you reject down from it, if it doesn't recover, it's a bad sign. If we go full bull market, push up this next year, then yeah, the target is there's significant upside potential, but there's also significant downside potential, and it's already leaning downwards. So I would not really, again, this is not financial advice, it's just educational. What I would do is, kind of plan ahead for this one, right? Because if you just only look at price action and you ignore everything else that's happening in the market, is that this price action is just carbon copy of Bitcoin. So I would say whatever Bitcoin does, this coin is probably going to do as well. All right, Luna, let's move on. Luna USDT. All right, we kind of already did this one, but this is a good example of how much time do we have? I'm going to go a little over today. So this is a good example of consolidation and continuation. What am I saying right here? Because when I drew this chart, which the trend lines got a little messed up here, but you can kind of see I was drawing this channel, right? And then it pulled back down to the yellow line. And what happened? The price started consolidating sideways for this whole time. But if you use support and resistance, classic, I'll answer your question at the end. Classic technical analysis right here is resistance and support. You could see somebody had resistance and support like 3 levels. It's just playing between those levels. Traders love to do that, experienced advanced traders, professionals, and then just play your direction. Right? You can see that there's even a trend line down here that was very visual. So you can see that even right here, it's just like there's so many patterns that are popping out. It's just were we able to catch it in real time? This one was a little tricky up here on Luna, where it broke out and then fell back down, but it fell back into trend line support, which I'm saying showed on other coins. The trend line support, and then it rallied up. The measured move, probably about what was this, 40-something%? It just went basically 40-50%. So the measured move is done on Luna for the first target, and you want to watch out because you are seeing a little bit of double top resistance on the momentum indicators, the 4H4. What I would do here is probably use Fibonacci just to get your support and resistance levels up. So we did fall back down to our 50 EMA. You can see the second target is $82. The third target is $72, around to 618 Fibonacci area. So you want to watch out for these 3 targets to support: $82, $77, $71. Because it was uptrending and it started going sideways and it pulled back now. So you want to watch out for this particular price action in the white, that it's not going to turn into a 4-hour head and shoulders and pull back down on you. If it goes up to the upside, the targets are obviously $95 and $100. So just watch out for that. Manage risk accordingly. Again, the altcoins, the H1 is low, but it's not the lowest low of the RSI I've ever seen. But we could see that 15-minute, 1 hour oversold happen. All right, let's do another one. Let's do just in the order that we let me do VeChain one more, and then we'll do Tesla and stocks. We got to move over because this is the last crypto one. So hopefully you're learning something. And hopefully the microphone audio got better. I tried to fix that the past week. So VeChain, VeChain here, excuse me, Binance. Let me get a better chart, clean chart. Okay, I'm just picking KuCoin just because it's clean. I don't really use KuCoin Exchange. So here we go, VeChain, 2021. This is a very perfect example of going from uptrend to downtrend to another uptrend to short-term downtrend. Okay, or long-term uptrend into consolidation sideways. Right? So this is why it's always good to take a long-term perspective. I look at like 1 to 2 year charts and you just plan accordingly. There is such strong support right here. If anyone put a ninja buy order down here, like 5 cents, they got filled on this day. They're so happy right now. They're so happy right now. They're up 72%. If anybody put a buy order down here and prepared for it, sometimes I like to do that on cryptos. If I see a strong support level down here in the blue, I'm like, oh, there's something down there. Then I'll just put a secret buy order down there, right? Because sometimes these little flash crashes, it happens and it goes right into your order and it picks you up. It buys it for you and it pops back up and you just made money. So sometimes putting a buy order really, really low, that makes sense on the charts is the move. That's a smart move. So what I would do here is very easy. This is an intermediate to advanced tool, Fibonacci. You get that up on the charts and you can see everything makes a little bit more sense now. We bounced, it pierced the 786 to the 0.88, almost on the downside. The long-term trend is sideways, but one could argue, but there's a triangle here. Okay, so we could draw the triangle or the wedge. Now it's looking like that. So you could say it's just a gigantic consolidation wedge to the side. We bounced off this bottom 7 cent support here up to the 618 resistance, and just like every other single coin I've been saying is we broke out of this intermediate trend line. Now we need to establish the higher low in the price somewhere here. If it comes all the way back down to 7.5, 7.8, like 7 cents, that would be a retest of support. That definitely needs to hold. So bulls need to hold the 7 cents on VeChain. But again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're going to determine the direction of the market, not VeChain. I'm not pointing out this one coin, but not altcoins. Like one altcoin is not going to flip the whole market upside down. It might rally, but it doesn't determine the overall market direction for like 80% of the time, because Bitcoin is the big king and queen of the market. Okay, so just want to watch out for that. We just have this resistance here. Okay, so you want to see the 8 cents. Watch out for the 8 cents. Now, just quick going inside here. Right, the whales too. The whales, the institutions, hedge funds, big money determines the direction of the market, not one small altcoin or one retail trader's account. Unless you get like every single retail trader on the planet aligned and buying in one direction, like GameStop. Sometimes it happens, but most of the time it doesn't. All right, so VeChain is still in this 1 hour uptrend. So again, we had this flash crash. So if someone's going to try to scalp this day trade, this is an interesting spot of value. People are coming back to work right now in the Asia session and Europe sessions and America as well. So as long as this hourly uptrend stays intact, it's okay. It's okay, but you might see some pullback down in the 4 hour daily. All right, we have one more crypto. I missed this one on Twitch. Let's do it. Let's do a quick AVAX. AVAX, let me bring up a cleaner chart. So you can see, even if we're doing these coins, you know what I mean? These altcoins, they look very similar to Bitcoin. I hope everyone notices that. That's why I always start off with total on Bitcoin, because if I only have like 2 minutes to look at the charts, I'm just looking at total on Bitcoin. That's it. For real quick analysis. AVAX, I'm going to use a HUOB chart because BTC, we already did that one. We might do it at the weigh-in. And again, I do longer term charts, so you're not going to miss out really on anything. So AVAX right here, in the clear uptrend. How do I know this? It's longer term. This is why we need to study and practice this. Is you have a trend right here. You see that uptrend. Now, the thing with AVAX is it could pull back to the support of $56. That's the big kind of inflection point that we need to hold. The problem is the medium term time frame. You start zooming into the past like 2 months of AVAX. This is starting to lose a little bit of momentum for now. It's in a short term, almost downtrend. It's mixed. It looks like an upside down head and shoulders, but it's upside down head and shoulders after an uptrend move. That is very not reliable. So it would be different if you have upside, if it crashes into an upside down head and shoulders, then that's a more powerful bullish signal. So I am not trusting this because this just happened on Bitcoin. I'm going to interpret this more as a lower high. So I would look for potential lower low action on AVAX. So support is $100, $80, $60, $40. Okay, you could draw Fibonacci from here just to make it easy on yourself. If you don't want to manually draw the lines, just have the algorithms calculate it for you, mathematically calculated. And you can just draw a manual trend line here. Very easy to see that we lost it, we retested it. So that's not very strong for AVAX. Okay, so just watch out that just because a crypto coin, altcoin had a strong move up does not mean it's going to continue up, because the entire market has to go up like Bitcoin and Ethereum. For now, it's going sideways. It actually bounced up, double bottom at the 50% $80 retrace. Pulled up here. So you could see two things are going to happen. Bearish, it could go all the way down to $50 or $70. But if it has a higher low, if we hold above 90, then there's a chance we could see 140 again. But again, AVAX is not the most liquid coin in the world. So the question for this week is continuation in the market, yes or no? So I hope that helped. Let's move on to stocks because it is, we have about 20 minutes left. Just want to say I'm streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. And I have a free Discord group where I release a free weekly watch list of stock indexes, crypto, support and resistance. Okay. And that can be used as a general guide for the week, some economic data and stuff like that in the market. Let's answer this question before I forget. Somebody's asking, what if a trader has lost the track of stop loss and I'm going to assume it's an investment, went down negative 50% of the purchase price. On top of that, it's crypto. The Bitcoin continues to drop. So would it be best to hold or get out or try to salvage 50% of the investment? This is a very difficult question to answer. And again, I'm not supposed to do financial advice, just educational advice. But all I can say is stop loss, because if a trader's down negative 50%, the coin and the stock has to rebound up 100% to make your investment back. So that's going to be your decision. That's going to be your decision, 100% your decision. That's why I'm not singling this person out. It's just the lesson of you could look it up on Google or Bing. Is just look up like. What are they doing? Here, let me look it up first. So stock losses recovery chart or something like that. Let me bring this chart up. Can you see this? Can you see this? I just looked this up on Google. Okay, so I just typed in stock loss recovery chart and on Google Images. So the thing is small losses. This is probably the most important education piece that you need to remember from this stream is if you have a loss, okay, a negative, let's say 8%, you would have to recover on the same asset plus 8.7% to make your initial loss back. Okay, so it's not that it just goes up if it goes down negative 8%, you have to make 8%. You have to make more than 8%. So this is why firms, if you go down in your account negative 10% or in the investment, you have to make back plus 11%. You have to make back more to recover your initial capital. Okay, you can look it up on YouTube or Google and read articles. Why is it like that? But if you're down negative 25%, you have to gain 33% on the asset to recover back your 25%. So if some trader's down negative 50%, they have to gain 100% to get their asset back. It's because the capital you have at the bottom of the loss is less money. So you have to make back way more money to recover your original account size. That's basically why. Okay, so that's why we keep our loss, try to keep our losses small as possible. All right, so that in particular, it is this one person is asking, what if they're down negative 50% of the asset? I know some people say like, oh, what about dollar cost averaging and holding, holding forever. If you're holding forever, it's a different story, right? But if you're like a day trader and you're down negative 50%, like, oh my goodness, that's a worst case scenario, right? If you're a swing trader down negative 50%, it could go either way, right? But if you look at Bitcoin right now depending on the price and again, this is just educational only. I'm not saying any financial advice telling somebody what to do with their own account. It's 100% your decision. But how far are we up in Bitcoin right now? We are not at $4,000 Bitcoin. It's $49,000 Bitcoin. The only thing that can help us here is that, let me erase this. The only thing that can help us is if we hold this higher low above 45,000, the bulls are, in a best case scenario, are hoping for a retest of 70,000, right? That's a bull case scenario. But if it's a bear, if this turns out to be a weekly double top, right? If it's weekly double top, right? Then you can start to see like a potential head and shoulders happening. So at this point, on a daily chart, it's too early to tell, too close to tell, right? We're gonna need some time and price action to prove if this continues up. Then all right, then we're gonna seek out our higher high somewhere up here. But if it starts breaking down, we lose all the supports, then obviously we're downtrending, and that would confirm our weekly double top right here. So all I could say in the future is, we just try to manage our risk and not blow up our accounts, meaning not lose all the money in the accounts. Okay. All right. So that was a little too much education today. Let's go to Tesla. Let's go to Tesla and RIVN because that had a lot of move this week. And then we'll kind of end here on stocks. So I don't want to keep people waiting. So let's do Tesla and RIVN, and then we'll do stock indexes. Alrighty. So at Tesla, here we go. We drew this wedge. I drew this wedge last time, and we could see it hit where? It hit our 50% retrace support. I think I streamed on December 20th. So literally 1 day before the bounce. Right? I remember saying on that stream, 15-minute, 5-minute oversold might bounce, and that's what happened in the entire market. So this target down here was just a longer term target if Tesla has continuation to downside. I shouldn't have drawn just one X. The other target would have been the top side of this wedge up here. So I'm going to leave that there this time. Okay. So I forgot to draw the bull target for people last time. But still, if you play your support and resistance right here, 886, right, 966, down 72, I would be a little bit suspicious of Tesla now because anyone who closed out their puts or shorts, that's a perfect spot in the medium term. A perfect spot. You hit that, hit that 900 psychological 50% retrace, and we're out of there. Now the longs and the short squeeze happen, and we hit this target. It's a large move, 20%. That is the target of the actual wedge. So the two scenarios that can happen, I'm going to start with the resistance scenario first. This is why it's important to look at the S&P, because the S&P 500 is at a record high today, after past like 1 or 2 days. So with that in mind, is we're hitting the resistance trend line on the top side here. Okay, you have Tesla, and it's rejected 1, 2. This is the third time you have a shooting star here. So I wouldn't be surprised on our shorter term time frames that even though the daily has momentum up, you can see our 1 hour, 4 hour is oversold, but it's trending up. So I would not aggressive. I mean, it depends. Okay, I'll play this one of two ways. If I'm scalping this thing, I would try to look for some potential potential bounce tomorrow on the short term or a potential short. It depends on the break, but there's a little bit, it's favoring the bulls a little bit because our RSI purple is low. The medium term, it's high though. You see that? The 1 hour, 4 hours multi-time frame analysis right now. So we have this double top on Tesla. On the 1 hour, it looks like it could drop significantly, right? 3% to 6%. This is a typical setup. This is getting way more advanced, right? You get up here, this thing up crosses, it can pull back down all the way to $1,000. So I would use a little baby intraday Fibonacci to see, okay, our 997 or our 975, or even just the 50 EMA, like 1044, these three levels on the price. I'll watch that very carefully. But the fact that we're at this top trend line resistance is a very suspicious sign, okay? Because experienced traders know that once we hit a support level and we bounce back up, the top side is the target, and then we might pull back inside at some point. So I would just be concerned and watch out for that tomorrow. Is depending on your time frame. If you're like the scalper, then it's just whatever the direction the broad market and Tesla's going to move tomorrow, which could be a very short-term bounce by the 6:30, 9:30 a.m., whatever your time zone is. But the longer-term time frames of like a medium-term 1 hour, 4 hour is maybe towards the middle, towards the end of the day, we might see some fading down tomorrow. That's one scenario. And then for an investor, we might see bear case, we might see it pull back down, right? Because it just made our lower high. So if we don't break above 1168 price, it could pull back down one more time to maybe not 920, but somewhere in the mid to upper 900s range could be okay on Tesla. But it's still downtrending. I hope people realize that. Okay, with all these indicators, turn it off and we do classic. It's still downtrending. It just had a very nice bounce. So as long as we do not penetrate and go above 1,150, still fine. And who knows, we might get a trend change reversal here, right? With the price, that would be an upside down head and shoulders. Or if it pulls back down, we start losing this, it starts crashing, then pull back. The obvious target is down here at 900, 915. All right, Tesla, let's go to Rivian. So I just gave like 3 time frames and 2 scenarios, so everybody's covered on that chart. All right, so Rivian, interesting. We had the nice, beautiful 10% bounce here, and it kind of went a little bit more to the downside, not quite to the lowest low of the target that we were looking at last time, but it made a full 1-to-1 retracement and just a little bit more to the downside. Oh, thank you so much, Taylor, for the 350 coins. I really, really appreciate it. Happy holidays. Always appreciated this cheer donation to keep the stream going. It buys me coffee. It helps me do charts more. So thank you so much. Happy holidays. Happy New Year, Taylor. Let's do Rivian. Let's do Rivian because related to Tesla, we had this bounce. So it's very interesting to see, right? Like Tesla bounced up 20% and then Rivian also followed. So Tesla is like the Bitcoin of electric vehicle cars. That's how I think about it. It's like Tesla's Bitcoin size. So every other small electric vehicle company is like a altcoin to me. So this also went 20%, but it took a week. So where did it go to? It went straight to our resistance right here. Remember I was calling this, it's like, it's still in the gray line. You could kind of still see it, but it's like right here. So we penetrated down, and then what happened? Shorter term time frames, probably like a H1 15 minute. It's getting real messy, but we hit that. Let me do H1. H1 right here. This is the chart setup in terms of you had an upside down head and shoulders on this H1 chart on the price on Rivian. Right here. This is exactly technically why we went up. If anyone wants to know, it was 7%. What happened today? 7 to 9, 10% exactly. So the second target on the bull move to the upside was 10% actually. So we did 10% perfectly. So 10% continuation would take us where? To 118 or somewhere in this upper 100 range. But if it's going to be textbook uptrend, this thing needs to pull back a little bit, right? Because it's kind of overbought on this H1 15-minute. So it did up cross, but be careful of the pullback down into the up cross because of the short-term time frames. So kind of watch out for that. If you're a day trader, keep an eye out for like the 15-minute, 1 hour chart. If you're an investor, the day chart, the momentum is still in the middle of the RSI purple, so it's not really the greatest chart setup on that. What I would do for this now is maybe on a H4, I would do something like this. Just try to box it in any way you can. Just try to box it in, because even if I didn't know it was going to go down there, you could still draw 2 lines here like this. And that was the signal. You see right here at $100. Once it broke above $100, day traders jumped on that. That's exactly what happened. And you had a little upside down head and shoulders. This is the kind of stuff you want to look at in the charts. Try to find that. Then you have a horizontal resistance here, target. You have a resistance here. Why did I find that? Because you need a lot of touch points. I'm looking left with my eyes right now. Looking left with my eyes. And there's a support here, and resistance, and the big one up here. So we can use our EMAs, right? It's hitting those targets, our moving averages. But at the same time, if this thing is going to start to uptrend with the entire market, it might need to pull back down first before it continues up. So what I'm looking for, maybe tomorrow morning, is what I'm looking for is like $100 or 103 or 100, like 103, maybe 100 if it's really bad shorting tomorrow morning. But some days I just stay out of the market, right? Like this week I'm kind of doing a little more relaxed because I'm up in all my 80% of my positions. So for me, my mindset, me personally, is I'm managing my profit. I'm not like trying to enter anything new right now. So meaning that I need to bring my stop losses up on certain trades so that if I get stopped out, I'm stopping out into profit. Like let me show you. So let's say if I went long here on RIVN, okay, and we're up this much, I would move my stop loss. If my stop loss was like at 5%, I would move this thing up, not to 0, but move it up to way higher. Okay, so at least minimum move it to 0. So if it crashes down, I had a risk-free trade, but I would lose my profit. So I'm going to move it higher, depending on my calculation of the charts. So that's the thing, is if you're up in profit, don't leave the stop loss down here, because if it crashes and you forget about it, you're going to lose money. And there's no point in that. So move it at least up to 0. Break even trade if you're thinking you're going to invest and let this thing ride up. But if you're a day trader, I just put it up here and then let the market stop you out and take a profit. Targets. This was a 2-to-1 reward to risk trade. So as a day trader or a swing trader, you would definitely at least sell half. All right. So RIVN, those are targets. Someone had Salesforce. Oh, let's do SPY. Let's do an order. So let's do SPY. We kind of need to do the indexes, and then we'll end soon. I'm going over a little bit. Great. I'm glad people are learning stuff, the charts and whatnot, because it's really important that if someone's trying to trade or invest, like we actually know what we're doing in the markets. Because Warren Buffett taught me in his books. Warren Buffett said risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. Risk comes from not knowing what we are doing in life or the markets, right? So we need to like learn, study, practice, get real skills, knowledge, and experience so we actually know what we are doing in the market, know what works and know what doesn't work, so we don't lose too much money and we make profits more than we lose. Okay, so SPY, this is kind of a dirty chart because this is my idea. I'm just going to leave it here. But the thing is, I did call this triple top, but you could see the reason why I don't like to put a lot of ideas up is because the market changes. That's why I like to stream more than do like one idea. So we had a triple top, but it pulled back. And I remember saying on the analysis like a week ago is that if we manage to hold the higher low here on the chart, higher low, if we hold this, it turns into a Morningstar pattern, we're going to get continuation to the upside. Okay, so the scenario was if it triple top and we pull back down, we lose this, then we start going down. It's the same thing with Bitcoin right now. It's kind of like, are we going to get this? It's like this right now, or up here. So are we going to pull back down with continuation, or is it going to pull back down and fail? So the S&P 500 had a excited Santa Claus rally. It's just normal. You hit a support level on oversold shorter term time frames, you bounce up in the market, and then shorts have to get stopped out because a lot of shorts probably started here and they were shorting it down. And anyone who didn't take their profit here, there's stop losses. You know what I'm saying? There's the reverse of this. There's the short stop losses like this. So this is, to me, it's very obvious what happened here is that a lot of shorts entered, put options, okay? And then if people didn't sell, wow, literally on the day we did those charts, it was the reversal spot. So it's still a battle between the bulls and the bears, and there were some Omicron related developments that happened in the marketplace. So too long story is we held this support level here and we bounced up. Now we're in blue sky. This is the highest level the S&P 500 has ever been in history. It's beautiful. So just like in my free Discord, okay, where are the resistances? If you're in blue sky no man's land up here, meaning in the air, use psychological. 480, 490, 500. Now you just gave yourself 3 targets to the upside. There also is this resistance trend line on the top, the yellow. Okay, so that's right here, 481. That's an X marks the spot. I'm going to just put that in blue right there for next time. Okay, yes, we have our EMAs for support. So let's look at the downside targets just in case. The downside target is the triple top here, 471. Look for support right here, 461. Let me turn this off. 461, and then somewhere down here, 453. So now you're playing with these 3 support levels and these 3 resistance levels. And then intraday, we take a look. 4 hours starting to get oversold, lose momentum. Not so good. The 1 hour, this you could see now why we need to track S&P 500. This is RIVN. This is Tesla. It's the exact same thing that happened the past like week. Okay, so that's why it's very important to keep track of your indexes for stocks and crypto. So it's already oversold. Excuse me, it's already overbought. It's too high, right, on the momentum. So as a trader, we might see some downside, just a little bit of baby pullback in the short term. You can see it's rallied up so much. I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back down like a 473 tomorrow morning just to reset, cool off the momentum. It's not low anything. So anybody trying to chase a bull rally right now is a higher risk, much higher risk. But the safer spot to enter was down here on SPY. Right, this is where I entered my trades last week. Not here. I'm thinking to take profit now as a trader because I'm in profit. Okay, because I basically bought stocks near the bottom here, and this might not be the top, but I need to manage my risk and make sure I'm not going to lose my profit. So, as a trader, so same thing here. Up here, when we up cross, okay, we'll look at our past history. We might see some additional continuation, but you just don't want to buy at the top on accident and then lose money on the way down. There's no point of that. So if you're long, I would maybe try to wait a little bit more for some market clarity. It is the last week of the year as well. So a lot of hedge funds, they don't do a lot of actions of buying sometimes at the end of the year because for them, if they're a hedge fund or institution, if they had a great year, they're not going to mess that up right now, right? If they have a really bad year, then maybe people are trying to get their last trades, right? But for me, I'm just saying that's where my mind is at. All right, so I just gave you the support and resistance levels. It is on a 1 hour uptrend. Okay, 1 hour uptrend. So as long as this thing doesn't double top up here at 470, 480, okay, it might pull back a little bit like that. All right, I'm trying to give you more accurate numbers than just saying here and there. Let's get a little bit more accurate. So what exactly am I saying? 476, 475, 473, 470. Okay, those are the 4 supports intraday on the downside. But you can see here that it's a clear 1 hour uptrend, but that doesn't mean it's going to keep going forever. It already hit, if you're using indicators to trade, it's already hit our overbought. with the head and shoulders on a 15 minutes. So I'll be careful tomorrow morning for the next like 2 days. Then if you want to enter as a long bull, educational wise, is you want to enter on dips. You want to enter on low, not high. Where was low? I bought Apple here, for example, because it's low. There's a setup here. Here was a little bit more tricky, and then I ended up on using intraday analysis, buying lower here. So you want to, if you're a long green, wait for low. Wait for low. Okay. If you're a short, you know, you might be kind of excited. You're like, oh, I want this thing to top out and then crash back down. But I don't see a clear signal yet, so it's mixed. It hasn't happened yet. Once I start to see some heavy consolidation to the downside, maybe tomorrow or next 2 days, then our short will be confirmed to downside opportunity. But for now, this just looks like this is like 3 black crows or 3 green crows or 3 white soldiers, excuse me. Candle analysis, morning star into 3 white soldiers, so that's bullish, but right on our RSI, it's kind of topping out. So just watch out for that. Because the problem is when it goes up, people are like, oh, is it going to keep going up like forever? But an experienced, like advanced or professional trader, they already bought the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful for that. Salesforce, CRM. All right, Salesforce. So the thing to note about Salesforce, let me put a timer so I'm not talking too much on this one. Salesforce, 2 minutes. All right, Salesforce. We are looking at, what are we looking at here? All right, so we had a downtrend pullback. You want to watch out for this kind of action just on S&P 500 too, where it's uptrend. At a certain point, it's going to top out and turn into a downtrend, so watch out for that price action. Salesforce already had its move to the downside, so it's in a slightly better spot. But again, the Salesforce is part of the New York Stock Exchange, so you want to watch out. Whatever the broader market's going to do, Salesforce will likely follow QQQ, NASDAQ. So we'll take a look at that afterwards. So we just hit our 618 level. That's a nice spot to enter. This is our low. So this is what we want to look for on the charts. We have our bull setup. This is a great setup for a swing trade. It might not be the perfect time in the world, but this is what you want to see, right? You have low, oversold RSI. You have MACD momentum building. You have a 618 support level already off of a downtrend. And if you're a bull, this is what we like to see. I bought something like this as well. So the thing is 4 hours, 1 hour, it's not the lowest low. So if you're entering this now, you want to be careful because you could see some volatility up or down. If we're trying to time it better on a TA technical analysis, 1 hour, right when it hit that 618 level right there on this particular day, December 21, 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 a.m., that's a spot to buy. Because then someone will be up 5% in a week. But our H1 is overbought right here. Our 4 hours is kind of in the middle right now. Again, interesting 4 hours, just like RIVN, upside down head and shoulders right there. So if anybody was able to catch that, there's that move of, let's see, how big is that? 2.4%. It went 2.4% exactly, almost. Right? So the next target would be another 2.4% up, $264. So that's the intermediate resistance target on the top side. For intraday trading, if you're like trying to scalp this thing, I'll just wait for oversold. 15 minutes uptrending. And if you're an investor though, this is a very nice upside down head and shoulders MACD. So I'm hoping Salesforce and that broader market can continue the bull move up. But again, the danger you want to watch out for is try not to focus only on one stock. Understand the broader market because the S&P 500 represents 80% of the stock market. Same thing with total market cap with Bitcoin. All right. So what I'm saying here is longer term, this thing could bounce up to 275 or even 280 if you're able to hold it. Because how long did this take to crash down? It took basically 2 months. So stocks takes much longer than crypto to do something. Is that you want to watch out for, it could take like 2 months for this thing to bounce. Okay, so if someone's trying to invest in this thing, I mean, you gotta hold it. You know what I'm saying? Now, worst case scenario, if the stock market crashes, then that's why you have a stop loss and small amount of capital loss here, not a lot. But you could see, even if I was to enter this trade right now, it's it's not the perfect bottom, but if it's gonna reversal uptrend, if the whole market reverses uptrend, it's still a 2-to-1 reward to risk. So okay, small amount of capital based upon this daily. You have to hold probably for about 2 months, educational wise. Thank you so much for the high five encouragement. Really appreciate it. Best wishes to you and your family on Twitch here. So that's CRM. So watch out for this bottom side 240, 250 downside problem that might happen. Like it might try to juke people out and scare people down here like that. So that's a trade. You know, it's not the if somebody asked me to go long here, I would caution them a little more, right? But if somebody's longing here, it's like, okay, maybe 50-60% chance this thing might bounce up just off experience. But again, if the S&P 500 NASDAQ crashes, then this thing's probably going to follow. It might bounce up, hit a resistance, and then pull back down. So watch out for that. Let's do NASDAQ. We'll end soon. NASDAQ. Let's see. QQQ. So we did hit our triple top here. Like this. And it looks like this move was completed. Yes, 3% to the downside, and then we bounced off our 100 EMA. So, you know, the triangle did not really hold in terms of resistance here, right? It was downtrend and up. So was there a bullish setup? There was. If somebody only really responded to the price, there's double bottom price right here at 378. Right there, 378. And the resistance is this obviously blue zone. That's why I'm concerned is day traders, early swing traders might be willing to close some of their position, like sell 25% or 50% now, just in case this thing's going to start crashing on you if you're a trader. But if you're an investor and if you happen to buy at 380 down here, is all right, we may move stop loss a little bit up and let this thing ride out and see what happens. But for me, I'm a medium-term trader. So I am looking at I want to see maybe a little bit more power continuation here. The 1 hour is definitely overbought. So again, QQQ looking like it wants to kind of pull back down tomorrow. So even for Salesforce, you know, the lowest price you can buy is going to be educational wise for any stock or crypto is just because it went up is just in case it comes down for a week. Right, that would be a better spot to buy it in the lower spot instead of just like buying it at the price right now. So same thing with Apple and Nasdaq and Tesla and RIVN is if it pulls back down and the setup is still there and we get another low RSI, then I'll buy it somewhere in this range. Okay, but for me, this is hourly. This is not the spot to long Nasdaq at this point in time for like a day trader or a scalper or a swing trader. Because high, we might see some shorting tomorrow, and also depending on the news, it's losing a little bit of momentum. You're so high here on the 1 hour. I've seen this setup before. Is over the next day or two, we might pull back unless there's super bullish news to just skyrocket us up. It's possible. Like if Wall Street bets and everybody on Reddit and every retail trader starts buying tomorrow, then it might just go up. But if it's textbook indicators, it might pull back a little bit down. We got to do Dow Jones a little bit. And if you're like, why does this guy do so many of the boring stuff? It's not boring. It's because this is the stock market and the crypto market that we're looking at right now. This is how I have a higher percentage win rate is I just wait. I know what my setups are. I know what good, you know, what works and doesn't work in the market, and I just wait for it. If something's not ready to go, I set alerts or make a note of it myself. And then if nothing's ready on the day I want to buy, I prepare, and then I turn off the computer, go do something else, right? So we'll end soon, because I know it's kind of a holiday week for some people here. So we are looking at Dow Jones. So Dow Jones, our daily it didn't quite hit this is a weird looking chart because the short-term trend line support just started from May. So, you know, this is not the prettiest price action because if it was a real true uptrend, this thing should have blasted up higher, roller coaster style, uptrend to the sky, right? But the fact that we slowed down here, there was so many problems Delta variant, remember that? And that was Omicron variant, and we're getting some volatility here. But if you zoom out to a weekly as an investor, is we had our weekly consolidation to the downside and a rebound bounce up. That's exactly what happened here. So bulls, what I learned in my experience, Wall Street bulls do not like to give up that easy. They'll just wait a little bit. So we hit our low RSI purple on the daily, we bounced up, and then we pulled back down into a large Morningstar pattern into the resistance point up here, 363, up here, and our H1 and H4 are up, it is H1 and H4 are both uptrending, so that's good. That's good. But again, we are on the overbought range. There's no super signal that we're going to crash yet, but I'm still anticipating it tomorrow morning, just in case these things starts to pull back. So just get some quick numbers here. We might be like 360 pull back or 361 tomorrow morning, and then the upside target would be like 365 to 367 range on the upside. Just giving people some easy targets. All right, so to close this thing off, we're going to look at Bitcoin just one more time. It's always good to look at Bitcoin every hour, every 4 hours, whatever your time frame is. So we're looking at the daily here to close out this Bitfinex Bitcoin. Flip back to crypto. And then we'll end. So Bitcoin, what am I looking at? Well, over the hour, we did pull back more. So where does this leave us? Let's look at our H1. Why did this happen? Because again, if you just only go off RSI, the first RSI low purple is usually not the one, right? So 15 minute, it's building. 5 minute, 15 minutes. So it's going to take probably a day for this thing, maybe 8 hours, the next session for this thing to really pop up. But is it in the buy zone? Educational wise, if I was going to scalp Bitcoin today, maybe I would take this, right? Because it's at a 15-minute low oversold. You just got to manage your risk. Remember the 1% rule. 1% rule. So Bitcoin, let's see what the measure move is here. Let's just pretend it's going to go half, 1 to 2%. So then my stop loss is literally 1% capital, right? So I'm not going to put all my money in this trade, but you know, if you're a scalper, you would position size accordingly. Maybe I should. It's just because it's 1% because I know Bitcoin doesn't move that much per day. So that's how you would manage that trade, right? Even on your exchanges, there's the 25% button, right? So if you just if you don't really know what to do, you just never really want to put 100% in any one trade because 95% of the time it's gonna probably lose. 90% of the time, that's that as a day trader. If you just keep running it back, 90%, 95% of the trades of a retail trader starting out loses. So you just want to be very, very careful. You want to be very, very specific and tight with your money, with your capital. Don't want to be loose and throw it all over the place because, you know, for example, if somebody just went long up here at 51,000, this is why just because you have a up cross on a 15-minute 1 hour I'm not going to get super happy about it because I need to see some more price action follow through like this right here. Just because you get this on the charts right here in the blue circle does not mean we're mooning 200,000 Bitcoin. I know people on the forums and some places, they love to do that. But that's why we support resistance and trend is if this thing keeps we needed to hold the higher low, but we didn't. So as soon as we lost this, as soon as we start losing 50,000, I knew last week, oh, I'm going to stay out of the market because this thing is going to crash down. But where is it going to end? We just lost a $50,000 Bitcoin range. Someday soon. It could just happen in 1 or 2 days, right? Low purple, RSI, bounce up to the upside. But you're going to have to wait. You might have to deal with a little bit of pain because shorts are going to continue to short this thing down until the last minute because they have their stop losses like this, right? So at some point, the price needs to go up so then shorts close and then longs can really try to take over for that next 1 or 2% on Bitcoin. So it's end with resistance and support, and then we'll be done for today. So we'll do the same thing again. We're looking at our, let me look at a 4-hour chart. We had this double top that's not really so good on Bitcoin for now in the medium term. The double top in the yellow box. Our support is literally 49,685, just above the price that we are at right now. And you can see if I draw a trend line, we lost that intermediate trend line, which is not so good. So if we can measure this now. If we have downside, it's -3% to the downside to 48,000. 2 times that target being -6%, 46,000. So now we have 3 support levels to the downside in the intermediate term. And we have this trend line. We could draw another trend line just for the price action that we're seeing on the H4 charts right now. So you can see on our H4, we're just trying to hold the 50 and 100 EMA. It's still downtrending. So again, what needs to happen is bull case scenario is we need to definitely hold above 50,000 and 48,000, 49, 48. These 2 lines. If we lose those, Bitcoin's in trouble. You'll see the shorts attack down once we start losing those levels. But bulls, if we want to try to save it, we need to hold the 49,048 level and then buy on whenever this low purple happens. So somebody, and altcoins most likely will bounce as well in that 1 or 2 days. All right, but if we have a super bull move for whatever the reason, like a fundamental reason why it's gonna blast up to the moon, or not the moon, excuse me, blast up to the next resistance level, which would be like 51,000, 52,000. All right, that's the price action kind of we want to see. But for now, you know, it is down. So intraday traders, this is their moment, right? In the next 12 to 24 hours. Swing traders, a little bit more conservative. The 4 hours not low, and it's, I don't see, you know, we hit this low RSI and I knew it was going to fade down here for a little bit. I don't see that right now. It's just a potential uptrend change, reversal, uptrend, reversal. Now we need to see continuation. All right, that's the name of the game for the whole week this week. Is yes, there's a head and shoulders on the RSI. That's why it's very mixed on the charts right now. I need to see price continuation closes before you know, crypto can really make some moves here in the medium term. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for watching. I know this stream was a little bit more educational wise, but that's just where the flow went based on all the live chats and the questions. I hope you learned something and or did some technical analysis for your stock or coin. Again, I am excuse me, I am live streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. I have a free Discord group here. The social media links are in my profile. Again, we have a short week for bond market on Friday. The bond market is essentially closes a couple hours early. The stock market is open on Friday, New Year's Eve, so please be aware of that. And we have some economic data coming out, not really impactful for individual stocks, but we just want to watch out for the S&P 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, total market cap, Bitcoin, and Ethereum this week, and some commodities like oil and gas. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good week as well. Happy New Year. I will see you all in 2022. Happy New Year. Thank you. Bye-bye.